until this occurred. So when he's getting locked up, he's referencing, and he even talks about Gaither, and I'll find where he talks about Gaither in here, that he didn't trust Gaither, or Gaither didn't help him out, essentially. And so his whole reference is about 2015. And if we continue to page 144, line 25 through 145, line 15.
So what does he say on 9 through 10? Everything I knew about what happened with that unintelligible situation.
Are you on page 144?
145. I mean, I do see he says everybody felt I had something to do with it. So that at least is some kind of circumstantial indication that he might be talking about the Donovan Thomas murder.
And if you give me
circumstantial indication might be talking about.
Answer your question. According to my notes, the unintelligible on line 10 is same.
Yeah,
Is what?
Same.
might be talking about.
Answer your question. According to my notes.
Yeah, with that same situation. And then I also talked to that he talks about Gaither.
All right.
And then, Your Honor, he mentions Gaither on page.
So what's the other
Section.
part, the other section?
The last section, Your Honor, is page 168, line 18 through page 169, line 2.
All right, and so is your position that he's essentially like protesting in this interview? Look, I told y'all what I knew, which was the God's honest truth the last time, and y'all didn't do anything to help me. And that establishes that he, at least in 2021, and your position is saying what I told you in 2015 was true. And that's inconsistent with what he's saying on the stand today and the past few weeks, which is everything was a lie.
Yes.
I mean, whether that actually accomplishes that or not, I guess will be up to the jury, but
Well,
yes, sir.
before it gets to the jury, I just don't know of any rule of evidence that allows someone to reiterate in between the time of the original statement and testifying. Okay, we'll say those two things are inconsistent. I don't know why a statement made in between those two things times inconsistent would be admissible as either a prior inconsistent a statement made in between those two things times it just seems inconsistent would be admissible at this point. I don't either using another out of court statement made in between those two things June 2000 would be admissible at this point. I don't either using another out of court statement made in between those two things June 2000 would be admissible at this point. I don't either using another out of court statement in between those
all
two
of that was disavowing the truth. Everything before was a lie. And here is something prior to today that is him saying the exact opposite of what he is saying today. So it is inconsistent in that way.
So his disavowing prior statements certainly has happened, and he's disavowed it. To me,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know what playing another statement, which he's already saying is a lie, what that is accomplishing. I just don't see this. To me, the state needs to outline a path, an exception to admit a out of court statement, and I'm not seeing the exception to the general rule that out of court statements would not be admitted into trial.
Do you want to speak to that, Ms. Hilton?
I believe the court said in its analysis that you just gave, what he's saying in court now in June of 2024 is inconsistent with what he has said in any of his interviews to police. And in 2021, 6 years after he gave his initial statement, he is still telling the police in 2021, what I told you in 2015 was true. You all didn't help me in 2021. What I told you all then is what I knew. I gave you the information. That is inconsistent with what he is saying now in court, that he's just finessing the police, that he's just telling them whatever, and the jury can determine if they believe what he's saying now in court, or if they believe what he told the police back in 2015 and in 2021. They can make that decision. But this is an inconsistent statement with what his court testimony is.
But isn't someone in 2021 saying what I told you in 2015 is the truth, was the truth? Isn't that exactly what we don't allow in the trials, is someone self-bolstering their own statements? Like, I mean, if I make a statement and then I just go around town and tell everyone, hey, that statement I made is the truth, that statement I made is the truth, are we going to have a trial where we call in 100 people to say I said it was the truth?
Yeah. So, I mean, Ms. Hilton, is your position that even though he is saying on the stand, everything I said before was a lie and what I'm saying today is the truth, that it's in fact the opposite of that?
Yes. What we believe that what he told the police back in 2015 and in 2021 was true. Like that's the state's position.
And that he is now, you believe, lying on the stand.
Correct. The state believes he is lying on the stand saying that what he said back then isn't true. But even
and that his motive for doing so is,
we believe his motive for doing so is that he's now present and has to deal with what he said back in 2015, now sitting in front of the individuals he testified or he talked to police about. He now has to confront his own statements in front of these defendants who he talked about back in these interviews in 2015.
and so he's trying to wiggle out of it today.
He's trying to wiggle out of what he told the police back then, back in 2015. And furthermore, in 2021, he's asserting again what he said back then was true, but now he's trying to tell this jury that everything, no prompting from anyone else, he brings up what he told police in 2015. Investigator Verito didn't ask him about what he said in 2015. With his own prompting, he told the detectives his first line, which is on page 12.
All right, so I think that this would come in under 24-6-613 C, that essentially right now he has, and I'm not saying he does, but the state's position is that he currently today has a motive to lie, and that this 2021 position he took with the police is before that motive to lie arose, and it's prior to that. Although honestly, it's not a consistent statement, then it's an inconsistent statement. So, I mean, in all honesty, I mean, you've already rehashed a lot of this, and I think we're just kind of plowing the same ground.
And furthermore, the defense counsel brought up this interview, one, by playing the jail calls that they played. They played, this is the interview that was leaked. And I believe Mr. Shar asked a line of questioning about this particular interview. I think he ended up asking the question. He was getting ready to play the video, but he did not play the video. I think he asked questions regarding this interview, and I would have to find the exact clip when he actually was going to play this interview for the jury. But I think he ended up just asking the question because there might have been some technical difficulties with the interview itself. So this interview has been discussed. The portions are about 2 minutes total. And more importantly, Your Honor, the last section is what I just asked him about, which is feeling guilty about having to confront or be around thugs. And what he says in this,
it's the same thing. I feel guilty about it. He doesn't say why he feels guilty about it.
On page 24, he does. He says, on page 168, he does say why he feels guilty. He says, "You don't understand how it makes me feel when I go around. You want to know?" I think he says, "Know the truth. When I go around, dude, I know what I done. So I don't want to be around him because of guilt. That's why I don't want to be around, because I'm afraid."
And you fill in the blank about what the reason for that guilt is.
He says it here. He says, "I know the information that I gave. Y'all sit here and play like this ish ain't valuable."
Which could be, I ratted him out, or could be, I totally made up something on him, and he doesn't specify which.
But we believe when you look at the totality of it all, our argument is that he is talking about the fact that he gave up information.
Okay, but this doesn't establish that this is inconsistent with what he's saying on the stand. You need to move on to another topic. I'm not going to allow this. I'm going to give you this back.
Okay, thank you.
All right, let's get the jury back out. Hank.
Last part was none of it.
None of it.
Now, Deshaun, you would agree with me, Deshaun is not the police, correct?
Can you say it again?
Deshaun, she's not the police, right?
Right.
Okay. She's the mother of your child, your daughter, correct?
Correct.
And in 2015, and through 2019, when you were in custody, she was taking care of your daughter, correct?
Can you say that again?
In 2015, she was taking care of your daughter, correct?
Correct.
All right. And you would agree that, at least back then in 2015, you loved her?
Can you say that again?
Sure. In 2015, you loved Deshaun, correct?
I still do today.
All right. And you cared about her, correct?
I still do today.
And back in 2015, Deshaun was the person who was trying to get you a bond. Like, she was trying to help you get a bond, correct?
How's she gonna do that? She's not the judge.
No, she was trying to get you the money for the bond, correct? To help pay the
She was
bond?
doing what I asked her to do.
Yeah. And she's someone that you confided in, correct?
What you mean?
She's someone that you talked to, that you trusted with what you told her, correct?
I don't trust nobody.
Okay. But Deshaun was someone who can see right through you, correct?
You can't even see right through me.
I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about Deshaun.
No.
Deshaun isn't someone that you could finesse, correct?
Say that again.
Deshaun is not someone that you could finesse, correct?
She's not somebody I can confess.
Finesse.
And what make you figure that?
And in 2015, you talked to her repeatedly on these jail calls, correct?
Yes.
And you talked to her about what you felt.
I talked to her about what I felt.
Yes. Your feelings.
All right.
You talked to her about your interviews with the police.
I'm listening.
You talked to her about what you told the police, correct?
Mm-hmm. I talked to her about what I wanted to tell her.
And you told her everything that you were feeling back in 2015, correct?
No.
All right.
Cause I didn't. No.
I want to play for you what's already been admitted as State's Exhibit 394Y. And I'm only going to play from 7:50 to 11:24.
Right now?
Yes.
Oi. Yeah. Tô.
Yeah, I just know I ain't tell you, cause I ain't want you to be worried and like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why Shannon act like they told me.
Yeah.
So I said, but man, I ain't had nothing to do with what man going on. Before I let you meet take me with my family, man, I just go out like a sucker.
Yeah.
I mean, but they say they gonna move me so I can't do nothing to me and then like it, and then they gotta see how everything work, and they like shit. They need D tell them what happened, cause D told me what happened. So I mean, they can't go out with
They told you what happened with
about what happened to they ain't know what going with that shit, man.
Talking about what night?
Yeah.
Mm.
About what happened to they ain't know what going with that shit, man.
Talking about what night?
Yeah, and they see that I ain't just making up and they lying and stuff like that. They ain't know what going with that shit, man.
Talking about what night? Yeah.
They see that I ain't making up and lying and stuff like that. I just tell you about it, man.
Talking about what
So
night?
did
Yeah.
you tell Deshaun that D just has to tell them what he told me?
Can you say that again?
Sure. Did you tell Deshaun right there in that call that D just needs to come down and tell them what they told me.
I did. See, one thing about me, I know they recorded my call. And that was after they locked me up. I knew they was playing me in the interview.
And did you also tell her that once D comes down there, then they'll believe that what I tell them is the truth?
Because that's what I was expecting.
So what's up? You feel what I'm saying? You know that tell me.
True. No, everybody gonna know.
Yeah. I mean, so they just me and your secret. We gotta take them to the grave.
True. No, everybody gonna know. Yeah, why you trust with these folks?
I mean, I ain't telling y'all this. They just me and your secret.
You just told me you did. True. No, everybody gonna know. Yeah, why you trust with these folks?
I just told him.
You just said you did, Woody.
Listen, I'm telling you what I told him. I was just like, hey, bro, if I ever need you, you'll be right here. You feel me? I like, don't let me down, bro. You feel me?
You just said you told him. Cause you.
Listen to me, bro. I only told you.
Yeah.
I only told you. You the only person I told.
Woody, which one you gonna say? Cause why is you lying?
You're not listening to me, bro. I told you. Listen. I just asked him like, hey, bro, would you ever be there? Would you ever be able to?
You just switched the whole thing up.
No, you're not. I just told you. I let him know, like, I just let him know, like, bro, if I was to come to you with a situation, would you help? And he was like, yeah, bro. I like, you sure, bro? Cause I helped him when he came down here. You feel? So one thing I know, when these folks come in here, he not gonna lie. You know what I mean? He don't want to play with these people, bro.
You helped her do it.
Okay.
You still playing it?
No, we've stopped it. Now I want to play for you what's been tendered and will be admitted as State's Exhibit 404Y.
Y'all need to listen to it?
Hello, this is a prepaid collect call.
Hang on a second. We'll try our backup system. All right. Let's try it. You can hear it. Try not setting the mic off.
Maybe. Okay. All right, Miss Hill. Nope. Okay. Yeah, that seems to be. No. Nope. Maybe. Maybe. Okay. See if you can play the audio. I don't know if this is going to work or not. Just give it a try. Nope.
We'll try.
This is a prepaid collect call from. Hello, this is a prepaid collect call from an inmate at Fulton County Jail.
Can you hear it, Mr. Cook? Can you hear it?
Yeah, I can hear you.
We're there. Maybe if everybody turned the lights off and we just played this instead of like the back at the end.
All of our messages.
Nobody else. I choose another.
Does that thing
days left in order to defend myself in preparation for trial, would like to close that laptop at 4 p.m. and then pick up the discovery hard copy in the 2 boxes that I have. I haven't spoken to the captain yet. I just now received the protocol for the laptop. I know that you had mentioned it to me the last time that we met with one another. So I'm confused how everyone is confused by me coming to the court with solutions and ideas and suggestions, but are being misinterpreted and misconstrued like my letters from my attorneys, and you're coming to the wrong conclusion.
I'm not coming to any conclusion. The process was created, and I'm just reciting what you've said to me at prior hearings, ma'am. That's all I'm doing. You've told me you have limited space. You've told me that you have no privacy, and that you have a small drawer for personal effects. This is the first time I've heard anything about you having a locker or some kind of bag, or property bag, that you now have access to. That wasn't addressed at our last hearing. This is the first time I'm hearing about it. So I'm not drawing any improper conclusions, as I identified for you with the process. The jail created this process. It was something that they put together. And as I told you, we worked diligently to move forward to get with the jail to have this done. There's no nefariousness here. There's no undermining. There's nothing along those lines. I want you to have this information. And as I addressed at the last hearing, I could not copy it. I can't look at it. I can't look at what's in those 2 bankers' boxes.
It's time to turn off the chaos and turn on Surfshark. Surfshark offers features like VPN, antivirus, and ad blocker. Surfshark is trusted by millions of people around the world and offers 24/7 online support. With Surfshark, you can use one account on as many devices as you want, making your online life carefree. Visit surfshark.com and enjoy online security made easy.
Ms. Barrios cannot, no one associated with my office can look at it. We had to use your investigator to do that. And what the jail has advised me is that they were not in a position to take both those bankers' boxes because of space and potential hazards. Now, if something has changed and the captain advises me that you can have those documents, I don't have a problem with you having them. But what I've been advised, as identified in that protocol, is to how and when you can have access to the information. And unfortunately, it wasn't in physical form, it was in digital form. And that was the process that the jail created. They are aware it's 2 bankers' boxes. They're aware of what the information is. Everything has been out in the open to address your concerns and how to facilitate getting this information to you. No one's withholding anything. No one's trying to hide the ball.
My opinion differs. I was never asked anything. Just like my letters to you prior to you forfeiting my right to counsel, I was never asked anything in order for you to have a better understanding.
Ma'am, I'm not going to revisit that.
I am not, you never asked me in regards to the hard copy.
Hang on, yes.
How quickly can we have an evidentiary hearing with the captain or whomever we need?
My understanding is she's on vacation this week.
Okay.
So, which is why Sergeant Casey was here, because Captain DiGiovanni is on vacation. And I cannot recall off the top of my head when she's set to return. She's set to return on the 12th.
So, if the document, what would be the process? Because it's marked, tagged, and in evidence, so there would need to be a motion to get it released from evidence.
I mean, I would entertain an or tennis motion to have it released from evidence. The concern as, and Mr. J, this is the first time I had the opportunity to discuss this case with you. I know I've been dealing with Mr. Cacciatore. We had a hearing, and I'm sure you're versed on this, but let me just kind of bring you up to speed. We had a hearing in June, and at that point in time, I forfeited Ms. Boone's right to an attorney based on her conduct and alternatively a waiver. And I'm sure you've read it. Thereafter, the court endeavored to figure out how to get those 2 bankers' boxes that Ms. Cashman had provided to the court at that hearing in Ms. Boone's possession. It took time for the jail to come up with a policy and a procedure for that to happen. I was advised by the captain that they could not take custody or possession of those 2 bankers boxes because of A, storage, and B, because of the hazard. Now, if the jail's in a position to revise that by virtue of Ms. Boone identifying a property bag or something that may be available for her use, I am 100% on board. If the jail says, yeah, we can facilitate and make that happen, her getting that information. I'm just traveling with what I've been provided, and the protocol that was provided to me that's been filed in the court file was not inclusive of providing her hard copies.
I understand. I'm just trying to find a solution. So
Same.
If she moves Ori Tennis to release those 2 exhibits to her investigator, then perhaps he can try and get them released to her. And if he cannot, then it sounds like on the 12th we can revisit this when the captain's back.
I think I don't know if she returns on the 12th or that's when her vacation ends. It's a Monday, so I'm assuming she'll be back, but I don't want to make any affirmative statements on that. I don't have a problem. Mr. Lane's had this discovery. I don't have a problem with him taking custody of it again. And if he's able to deliver it to the jail and they allow it to be released to Ms. Boone, I don't have a problem with that. I have no problem with it. I'm just traveling on what the jail has advised the court in the creation of this process.
Okay, so if she wants to Ori Tennis, which means oral motion, move to release those 2 exhibits, the state has no objection, and it sounds like if Mr. Lane can't get them to her, we'll be able to revisit this in the near time future.
Yes.
Just so that she's advised. So I don't want to ask her, but perhaps the court can ask her about what she wants.
Ma'am, the state has recommended a position for in an attempt to get you these hard copies. Is that something that you would like the court to, would you like to follow with the state's suggestion and ask of that of the court orally this morning?
I'm not understanding what it is that he's trying to do. May I please propose that the hard copies go to Mr. Lane, and then once I have permission by the captain and whomever, he can release them to me?
Granted.
No objection to her motion.
Okay. Mr. Lane, thank you for staying, sir. I appreciate you. If you could come back up here, sir, and take custody of both of those bankers boxes. I will have Ms. Barrios coordinate a hearing for the 13th at 8:45. Why not? We cannot do it the 13th because it's pretrial. You're correct. We will have a hearing on August 14th, if necessary, on Wednesday, August 14th at 1:30, if we need to address the jail's
position in taking hard copies if Mr. Lane's unable to have it delivered. Mr. Lane, you had advised earlier when Ms. Boone had inquired of you as to when you might be able to go visit her. You said the end of this week or by next week. If when you go to visit her by the end of this week or next week, bring that with you and see if the jail would be in a position to take it. If they are, I'm going to ask you to file a similar notice, sir, that that information was provided to the jail on what date and to whom. Okay? All right, thank you.
Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am.
What would the hearing be for on the 14th then, for the jail taking?
The hearing on the 14th, ma'am, would be if Mr. Lane is unable to have the jail take physical custody of those 2 boxes for your review outside of the laptop, we would have a hearing to address what, if any, protocols the jail may be able to utilize in you having those documents. It may not be necessary. We're going to go ahead and set it if we need it. If we don't need it, we will not have a hearing.
Thank you. And then so there would not be needing to be made an updated evidence control sheet right now. It has been tossed to Mr. Lane.
As of right now, the court minutes are going to reflect that what was pre-marked as A and B from the June 28th hearing is being provided to Mr. Lane.
Thank you.
Okay. With regard to your reasonable freedom motion, I'm going to set that for this Friday. Is the state available at 8:45 on Friday?
No, what's that date, please?
That is the 9th, ma'am.
We're available, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Barrios will coordinate with a representative from the Orange County Jail to address the reasonable freedom motion. Ma'am, I'm going to hand file both of these motions with Madam Clerk, okay?
Thank you.
All right. Is there anything else we need to address this morning, State?
Not from the state.
Anything else we need to address, Ms. Boone?
Please bear with me, just please, one moment.
Uh-huh.
What was the conclusion for
Is the microphone on? It's recording.
I need to research that matter a little
We
bit.
know, but yes, anyway.
I can make an order that would prohibit media access.
Yes.
Do you know what your deadline may be or estimated?
It'll be well before the 3rd. That deadline is set for September 3rd at 9 a.m. when we'll have that viewing. I will endeavor to get that done as quickly as possible. Ma'am, you also had asked for a list of the persons that Captain DiGiovanni had provided.
Okay, is it still on?
The jail regarding the laptop protocol.
So I want to make sure that this desktop audio doesn't mess with it.
Donald Casey, who was here this morning. Stephanie
No.
Jesus.
Well,
Sonia Robinson. Courtney Battle. And Malik Muhammad.
Thank you for that. Would you be able to provide me with a hard copy?
I will put that in the order that'll be mailed to you, ma'am.
Wonderful, thank you.
Okay.
If I may, I don't know if I'm allowed to address the state directly.
Yeah, you're representing yourself, absolutely.
How do I go about getting a copy of my phone or utilizing my phone? Is that something that can be brought to the courtroom and during the evidentiary, the physical evidence that I might be able to utilize that?
So my understanding is there was an imaging done of your phone with software called Cellbrite, and that is part of the digital discovery that has been provided to you. If you are talking about the physical device being re-examined by your own expert, then you would need to find and retain your own expert to do that without giving you legal advice or suggesting that he is the person you hire. I know that defense attorneys in this area hire somebody named Richard Connor, C-O-N-N-O-R, and then that will be between you and the KAC and him, whether or not he wishes to work for you and at what rate, so on and so forth. And then that examination would be done by him, with us being present if we want to be present.
Yes, I have reviewed, I believe, 2 or 3 different thumb drives were given to me at one point, where I researched all of them extensively, also included with Mr. Lane, and it is nothing of use. It's primarily cookies and...
Hi, I'm Victoria Missick, and I teach one of the most diverse acting classes in the world. Working with Adobe Acrobat AI Assistant, I am creating the Business of Acting manual to help others navigate through this industry. The manual of this size would take me maybe a year. With AI Assistant, it gives you a skeleton to follow. I can finish it in 4 to 6 weeks. AI Assistant helps me create the time to create new experiences. It's what I live for.
Hello there, I'm Ryan Reynolds.
I'm Hugh Jackman.
Now be sure to listen to the Deadpool radio station to hear the absolute best music you've ever heard. Be sure to listen to Deadpool radio to hear the dopest music you've ever heard in your pathetic life. Who wrote this? Just be sure to listen to Deadpool radio if that's your will.
Be
yeah,
you.
just be you.
And just keep dreaming big.
history and so forth. So that's why I don't understand who it is, a legal expert that can give me a mere download of my entire phone in regards to videos and pictures and contacts. I could probably supply a witness list sooner than later if I were to have accessibility to my phone in regards to my contacts. That's why I didn't know if it would be allowed to have my phone physically here in the presence of everyone, including law enforcement, to be able to physically look at my phone and go through it and to see what I can extract myself while here in the courtroom before trying to figure out how to locate and contact an expert to download all of that to receive.
So all of that information should have been downloaded, and I'm not sure what has been provided to you, but we will be double checking that.
It has not been provided.
Yeah, your contact information, all the videos and photographs, everything on your phone should have been downloaded. And what you may have reviewed is just a PDF file called the timeline, but there is additional data there, and we will make sure you
what I can gather, the feed to OBS is still live.
So it may be texts from December 2nd,
Oh.
2019, whatever it is. We will identify those pages, we will identify those files, because obviously your entire phone, however many gigabytes it is not going to just come into evidence, because like you said, there's so much of it would be not relevant.
Yes, thank you. So you all have already had access to my phone and have researched it fully?
We're not going to talk about our work product. I'm telling you what, based on my experience from other phone examinations is, all that information should be there. And it's typically presented in two different fashions. One is a large PDF, typically hundreds or thousands of pages, depending on how much you use your phone every day. And then there's a separate big digital image file that is read with what's called a UFED reader, and then that is where you can go in and look at everything.
Yes, sir, thank you. I've not seen any of that.
We are going to make sure that that is taken care of.
And that, just as clarification from the court perspective, is that something that would have been provided in discovery to prior counsels?
Yes.
Okay, then ma'am, as Ms. Cashman identified, she had everything. It's already been digitized for you, and to the extent you're able to have the hard copies, it'll be provided to you. So you'll have access to all that information today when you return to the jail.
Yes, thank you. None of it was gone over in any way, shape, or form with Ms. Cashman or any prior. So this would be a milestone, an epic milestone for me to be able to finally do that. So now, if I don't have what I need or I'm looking for, how do I go about? I know you all can't tell me because of legal matters, but do I need to write a motion? I don't know what I need to do in order to finally get a copy mirror download of my phone. If it could be brought to you for physical with the other physical.
So again, that is going to be something that requires an expert. And then if you get a defense expert, and the JAC pays for it, then we make arrangements to meet with that expert. That expert will have the opportunity to image your entire phone just as we did, and you all can work with that image. And you're going to be, if you don't already, on those thumb drives that Mr. Lane has, if you don't already have the full extraction and not just the PDF timeline of your phone, we're going to make sure that that is provided.
Okay, so that is not able to be included in the other physical evidence that you all are supplying?
No, what I'm saying is there's two different ways that I see phone extractions. One is the PDF, which is what I think you're referring to as the timeline of this communication, so on and so forth. And then there is the actual ginormous file that is read with a UFED program, and all that should be provided to you. Hopefully your laptop can use it. It does take some specifications on the computer to open it. In fact, we're addressing those issues at our office with our own computers. And if it doesn't work, we will cross those bridges as we get there. And I've worked with Mr. Lane before. Just let him know. Mr. Lane knows how to find me. We will work this all out and get what you need.
Absolutely, yes. I am grateful for your information. Just to clarify, please, during the physical evidence and me viewing that here in the courtroom, am I not able to physically open my phone and search through it?
No, because it needs to be in a Faraday box where radio signals don't come and go, because anytime you turn on your phone, it changes the contents of its phone, of the phone.
Thank you
You're
very
welcome.
much.
Ma'am, do you have any other questions?
One moment, please. Okay, so everyone is aware that I'm in the process of trying to talk to the captain. And handcuffs. Okay. Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am.
I believe I am okay for right now. You and I do not have a direct way of communication, and I didn't know. Another big hurdle is if the laptop has internet access, where I don't know if emailing or messaging or whatever, however it is that you and I can communicate, rather than snail mail by me writing you a letter. I don't know when I write a letter how soon you receive it, because sometimes it's days or weeks that it is uploaded to the clerk's website. Do you have a general time frame of when you actually know of something? Because you already had my address correction, but I don't believe updated.
Well, it's been updated now.
No, I mean on the clerk's website.
can't speak to what's on the clerk's website. I know for the purposes of my records and getting information to you, that clerical error has been remedied.
Do you have any other suggestions? If I do not have internet, would my only house ability to correspond with you be via mail?
That's my understanding. And you asked when I receive things. I get it as soon as I get it from in the mailbox. So we check the mailbox every day. As soon as I get it, it doesn't go to the clerk, it goes directly to me. And I review it. As you saw with the motions that you made reference to at our last hearing, that you had 5 of them, we set those for hearing immediately. And I intend on continuing to try to do that to facilitate prompt resolution to any concerns or issues or motions that you may have.
Thank you. And if I do have internet access or am able to put on, if it's not already, am I able to correspond with you via email?
You cannot correspond with me directly, but you can have conversations with my judicial assistant to the extent that you do have access to internet. I'll make sure to include her email address and telephone number in the order setting the deadlines that we addressed this morning.
Yes, thank you. And for any, I'm not sure specifically which JA, but as soon as something is scheduled, could you all please make sure that I'm included in the certificate of service or portal or whatever it is that I might be attached to in order to receive notices to be properly prepared?
Notices have been set, ma'am. To the extent that there was a clerical issue, that's been remedied, but you have been copied on everything that's been filed with the court, including the JAC's response, the notice of the hearing that was set for today, and the notice of the filing of the protocol. With that, I will see you all this coming Friday at 8:45 to address the motion regarding reasonable freedom in movement. State, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
All right. We'll see you all Friday. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We'll return Ms. Boone to the custody of the Orange County Jail.
I'm grateful. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Name in a song. $14.28. Now, Mr. Copeland, in that portion of that jail call, that's you talked to Deshaun, correct?
Yes.
And in that call, you talked about the fact that Thug put you inside of a song, correct?
Yes.
And you didn't like the fact that that song had been released at this point because people are thinking that you did something, correct?
Yes.
And that's what got you upset, correct?
That's what it say.
And were you upset about that? That he put your name in a song?
You sure right about it.
Okay. And when you said these N-words are shooting at us and all this is about something you know I ain't do, what are you talking about?
Exactly what I said. Something I didn't do.
Okay. So who is the shooting at us? Who's the us you are referring to?
Whoever was behind that gun.
You said they're shooting at us.
Me, Deshaun, and my little girl.
This is in June of 2013, June of 2015. So that's who you're referring to?
Well, I can't be specific who I was preferring, but I'm pretty sure that's who I was talking about. Shit, I'm the only one ever getting shot at.
And when you said you're going to rap about it, put their names, who did it?
Huh?
When you said to Deshaun, why the hell would you put these songs out there and have folks really think I did this shit? You feel what I'm saying? This N-word, this N, no for a damn fact. He should have put these N name in it. You going to rap about it, put their names, who did it.
All right. So if you go back and look, I said that after the interrogation. So anytime before that, and I was in jail, I never said that. I knew that they were going to be listening to my calls.
Okay. You said, you feel what I'm saying, don't put my effing name in no shit. Did you tell Deshaun this?
This what he said.
And I'm trying to be with my family. I ain't messing with, well, you didn't say messing. I ain't fucking with these N-words, bro, period. Only reason I called them was just to see something. I don't want these folks to do nothing for me, bro.
This what I said.
And who didn't you want them doing anything for you?
No. You talking about 10 years ago.
Okay. Then you further said to her, I had nothing to do with nothing. I was at the house sleep. These N-words did this shit. I had no problem with this N-word nut, bro. This shit so crazy, man. They had a problem with Thug, bro. Who had a problem with Thug? Nut and them? And your response was Kel and them, correct?
That's what I said.
And this is what you're telling Deshaun, correct?
That's what we just heard.
The person that you trust and the person that you confide in.
And you heard her keep telling me, why am I lying? She said she see right through me, right?
She didn't say that on this call, though, did she? Did she say that on this call? Did you hear her say that on this call?
Oh, I heard her say it, so
Did you hear her say it in the call I just played?
The clip you just played.
All right. So next I want to play for you States Exhibit 407Y. And we're going to start at 3:28.
I don't know what to do.
Crazy.
I don't know what they say.
What did you say?
I don't know. I ain't called back. I was talking about what the I was forgetting something.
I ain't talked to him.
Mm-hmm.
I know she's all right.
Mm.
You hear me?
Oh, yeah.
And then they thinking I'm doing everything for sure. So they thinking it me. You know what I'm saying? So they trying to say it. I can give out 25 years.
They don't even have no evidence.
Huh?
No proof. They don't have no proof or no evidence.
No, the fed different. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you, but they don't have no proof, no evidence, and you know you ain't do it, then why you stressing yourself out?
No, it ain't about it. It's about, it ain't, it's everything them niggas doing, man. Like, singing to me, then you know he already put my name in them songs and stuff. Talking about what I do. I mean, he making these folks thinking me who doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit is on another level. You know what I mean? This shit ain't got nothing to do with it. It ain't got nothing to do with that. When home getting killed. It ain't got nothing to do with it. It got something to do with all them houses getting shut up. All them guns thug that. You know what I mean? I ain't got nothing to do with none of this shit. You know I want to hang with them. You feel me? But I just got to prove that I ain't had nothing to do with none of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why I was trying to tell you. Don't tell nobody. I mean, I don't care.
I ain't telling nobody.
Huh?
I ain't telling nobody.
Yeah, I know that. I know. Shit crazy, man. I told her.
Why you should told in front of me? What?
What you say?
Why you said trade one $50 they gonna get you down now?
I can't hear you.
Why you didn't just say trade but buying the $50 they gonna get you on your book?
What, to you?
To put on your book. Cause he ain't getting out of yet. He probably trying to see him and say him to put the $50 they gonna get you on your book.
He's gonna give me some money from himself. Like, he's gonna come put my own. I just ain't, they trying to kill it now. I ain't got a chance to tell nobody. Yeah.
You want me to text him?
Yeah, catch me. And that's, okay, he come put money on the book.
Hold on. I don't know what I'm finna do. I might have to cancel for him.
Hey, this shit like you in me with that right now, bro.
Because
It's my fault, I know. It's always my fault, bro.
I ain't seen your fault.
She won't nobody give me that. Shit, what time is it?
11:24.
You know what I'm saying, man? I need to get into a gate.
Who?
To a gate.
Who?
Gate, Jimmy.
You know how to get situated.
You wanna try to call on 2-way?
You finished?
No, it's still playing.
40291. Please enter your password. Please enter your password. Mailbox number, please. Sorry, could not find a mailbox for that number. Please enter the mailbox number specified by your system manager.
Hello.
Yeah.
Please enter the mailbox number specified by your system manager. Sorry you were having trouble. Please try again later. Goodbye.
Sure, that's it. That's it, later.
What? Nobody in my background. I just said I'm here by myself.
Hello.
Yeah.
Anybody even went to your renounce? Saying about your renounce.
Hello, what?
About your renounce.
You said they went there?
I said, ain't nobody went to the renounce.
I know.
I'm paying attention.
Well, last time you start spreading around.
Huh?
They need to start spreading around. family.
I need to get Timmy number.
Who that?
Catch me a brother who I always be speak to driving the cat.
Mm-hmm.
I need to ask him, can he be able to help me out on my bun?
He know that's money. I know she do turn. He said ask him, did he check to see was it on there?
Tell her I couldn't go out there, eh?
Let's see.
Hello?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yes.
Miss you.
Miss you too.
I just let you get me out of the trouble, bro. About something I ain't do, man.
You have 1 minute remaining on your call.
You can play them, but you won't play on the issue while you play.
What, Jay?
When you say it was on there, can't you call me from your book?
I can't hear you.
Can't you call me from your book now?
So, JJ.
He said like it was on there, so can't you call me from your book?
I'm gonna try to check and see if it's on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love you, okay?
I love you too.
I need you to be there for me.
Hold on, I'm here.
I'm just trying to, it's my book and call you, right?
All right.
All right. And Mr. Copeland, in that call, did you again tell tell Deshaun, that he's already putting my name in songs and stuff about what I do? He's making these folks think it's me doing it? You're staring. Do you have a response?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you tell Deshaun that?
We just heard it.
Okay. So that a yes?
I said yeah.
All right. And that this shit is on another level. This shit ain't got nothing to do with homes getting killed. It got something to do with all those houses getting shot up.
That's what I said.
All right. And all them guns Thug got.
That's what I said.
Okay. I ain't got nothing to do with none of that shit. I was just not just hanging with them. I just got to prove I got nothing to do with none of this. You know what I mean?
That's what I said.
All right. And then later on in the call, you said, I let these N-words get me in trouble for something I did not even do, man. Do you recall hearing yourself say that?
That's what I said.
All right. Now, these are 3 jail calls that we played. All of these were between you and Deshaun, correct?
That's what we heard.
And on June 10th, you told Deshaun, not say June 10th, on that first call, you told Deshaun again that when D comes down and tell them, they will see that you're not lying, correct? You testified to this jury that Demekion never told you about Nuts' murder, correct?
That's what I said.
Okay. So which one is it? Is it what you told Deshaun on this jail call, the woman that you love, or what you telling this jury here today?
What I'm telling the jury today is that Ladie never told me that.
Okay. But that's not what you told the mother of your child in a jail call back in 2015.
And you heard her telling me to stop lying. So she know that how I am.
Did you hear her say stop lying in the call I just played for you?
She said, what are you telling too many, like, just stop. You heard her, man. She get no different treatment from nobody else. I'm not trying to drag her in nothing I got going on.
And what were the houses that you were referring to when you told her these houses getting shot up?
Whatever houses that were being shot up.
Okay. And Do you know which ones you were talking about in this particular?
No, I do not.
Okay. And what guns were you talking about?
None.
So why would you tell her that?
Because I mean, I'm in jail. Like I don't know.
Isn't it true, Mr. Copeland, that when you talk to Deshawn, she's not the police? She's not anyone you have to finesse? That you told her exactly what was happening back in 2015?
Miss Hilton, you heard her say that her mouth. Why am I keep lying? I did say this. Why am I switching my? You doing it to yourself. Just stop.
In these last 2 calls, she never said anything about lying, did she?
No, she didn't.
And Mr. Copeland, is it fair to say that you still love Shannon?
Yes, I do.
Okay. You still love Thug?
Yes, I do.
And you don't want anything, and you don't want your testimony to hurt them, correct?
It's not about hurting them. I told you I lied. It's the truth. I lied.
I have no further questions.
All right. Does anybody have recross? Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mr. Copeland. I'll be brief.
Okay.
You recall this morning, Ms. Hilton spent a lot of time going over the fact that you're a liar, correct?
Yes.
And you told Ms. Hilton that before you ever testified to this court, correct?
Correct.
I did not call you here as a witness, right? You didn't receive a subpoena from me.
I haven't spoken to none of y'all.
Okay. You received a subpoena from the state to be here.
State? Yeah, from Ms. Hilton.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Mr. Copeland, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I want to make sure we're all on the same page here. Your testimony is that what you told. Gotcha. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. You remember we went through your statements to the police in 2015, correct?
Correct.
All right. And you remember we pointed out the first time that you said that you had heard, first time you had claimed that you had heard that my client Shannon and Mr. Kendrick and others were responsible for Donovan Thomas. The first time you claimed that was June 10th of 2015, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you claimed that your source of information was Demekion Garlington.
That's what I told the police.
That's what you told the police. And you have made it very clear, I think, that your testimony is that was a lie.
It is.
Right. Now, what I want to make clear is your intention at the time, June 10th, 2015, you were being arrested.
Yes.
That was the reason for the finesse, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And your intention was that Demekion Garlington, Lil D, was going to back you up.
That's what I said.
Okay. And want to be clear, the statement Shannon, Yak, Duop, and Nard, you were asked by Ms. Hilton if you told that lie that you made up on June 10th, you were asked if you had shared those names with anyone else. And I believe you said with Little D, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
You said I shared the names with him?
Yes.
Yes.
Characterization of the question.
Okay.
You want to rephrase?
Those 4 names that you made up, you shared those names with Lil D, correct?
That's what I said.
Okay, and I'm asking, I'm not worried about what you said right now. I'm asking for the truth. So you shared those names with Lil D.
Y'all confusing me at this point, man.
I'm not trying to confuse you. You needed, in your mind, you felt you needed Demekion Garlington to back you up, correct?
That's what I thought he was going to do.
Okay, and you needed to share the lie you made up with him, correct?
I told the investigator that Lydia will come clear me.
Right. And so you shared the information that you gave to the investigator, the lie. You shared that with Lil D, correct?
I shared it with Moontoon too.
Okay, and you, I believe your testimony was Lil D, after you shared it with him, said, "Damn boy, you hell." Is that?
He said he got my back.
Do you know, if you know, do you know who Moontoon might have shared that information with, that lie with? If you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, do you know who Mr. Garlington, Lil D, may have shared that information with?
Well, I thought he was going to tell it to the police, but I guess he didn't.
Okay, do you know who he shared it with? I'm not asking you to speculate. If you don't know, you don't know.
I don't know.
Okay. We just played some jail calls from 2015, correct?
They
just did. Yeah.
I guess.
All right. And that was 394 Yankee, I believe, was the exhibit number. Every time you speak on those jail calls from jail, every jail you've ever been to, they play a recording in the beginning. A lady's voice comes on in the beginning, right?
Your call is being recorded.
Right. You know your calls are being recorded, correct?
Right.
You knew in 2015 your calls are being recorded, correct?
I knew before I even went to jail.
Right. That's common knowledge, correct?
Right.
Okay. And obviously, if you're being recorded, you can control what you say on the recorded line, right?
Right.
So you can say things like, Lil D told me this or that, right?
I can say whatever I want to say.
Right. What you can't control is what the person you're talking to says. Like when Deshaun said, "You're a liar, you're lying," you switched it up. That's the part you can't control on the jail recorded calls, right?
Well, you know that.
Talk about recordings. Let's move to meetings with the district attorney. You talked about several times the district attorneys, members from the district attorney's office coming to meet you in jail and in prison too, right? Federal?
Not federal.
Okay.
But state.
State jail and state prison?
County jail.
County jail. Okay. Rice Street.
Fayetteville.
In Fayetteville. Okay.
And Viverito came to Rice Street.
Okay. Viverito had a, when we say Viverito, we're talking about investigator Viverito.
Yes.
She had a cell phone, you said.
She did.
Okay. Now you didn't have, you're in jail. You don't have the ability to record your meetings with the DAs in jail, do you?
No.
Okay. Do you know if they recorded those meetings?
The one in Fayetteville, I thought I caught Viverito recording me, and then I started watching her phone.
Have you ever heard the recordings of the DAs when they came to meet you?
No.
Okay, what about in judges' chambers? You ever hear a recording of that?
What you mean?
A recording, an audio recording of that meeting.
You talking about when I recorded them?
No, I'm talking about June 10th, 2024. You ever hear an audio recording?
No.
Okay, so the state has been playing recordings of phone calls you're making from jail, right?
I don't understand.
The state has played phone calls, recordings of phone calls you've made from jail. We just heard some, right?
Yes.
Okay. But do you know where the recordings of the state meeting with you, those meetings are?
Objection.
Know where those recordings are?
Human facts, not evidence.
Sustained.
Okay, let's talk about the warrants for the murder of Donovan Thomas. Okay, you acknowledge that you were charged with the murder of Donovan Thomas, correct?
They charged me.
Right. And when you say they, let's talk about that. When you say they, you're talking about Detective Thorpe, correct?
So I'm talking about the police, the DA. I don't know who did it, but they told me I was being charged with murder.
Okay. Do you remember in 2015, and we talked about it, you gave statements about where you were that day, right? That you felt cleared you from the murder.
I did.
Okay. And you also lied to the police about Demekion telling you certain information.
Well, I don't say that for like a billion times.
Right. And you would agree that if someone were to believe that lie, it would have cleared you from the murder, right?
I don't get what you said.
Speculation.
Sustained.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Detective Thorpe, he took those warrants out on you in October of 2015, correct?
He took them out on me while I was in jail.
Right. After you gave that statement on June 10th, 2015, right?
Some months after, yeah.
Right. So he heard what you said on June 10th, 2015, and then months after that, he took out warrants for your arrest.
You say that again?
He heard what you said on June 10th, 2015, and then months later, warrants were taken out for your arrest for that murder, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And finally, may I approach the evidence, Your Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Kokomo, could you play that prior testimony? Do you remember testifying about do you remember when I stood up there and talked to you about your pending charges that were dismissed?
Yes.
Okay. Could you play that clip, Mr. Kokomo?
Do I gotta listen to it?
If you would.
You're right. He said he remembered it, so I would.
Is there some reason we need to hear it again? Can you just ask him about it?
Is this the young thug trial?
I can.
Okay, let's do that.
Everybody's
You
sick
remember
of
I was
this trial.
standing right
Nobody
there
wants to watch it.
and reading the sheet?
Yes.
No, people
Okay.
don't want to watch it.
I was reading the sheet and you were agreeing with me, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And I never said that Fonnie Willis signed the piece of paper, did I?
You said who name is that?
Okay. Mr.
Well,
Kokomo, could you
let me see.
publish
Is this that one dude
27D?
that was a friend of his? Yeah. What happened was when he got caught, he decided to lie. You know, but he'd get himself out of trouble, he'd make up a story. That story allowed them to get permission to wiretap. And that's how they've got this dude. So he thought he was protecting his friend and him, but he wasn't. He narked on his friend in a way that allowed them.
Okay, and
you know.
Mr. Copeland, I asked you if Fonnie Willis's name was on the decision of
Honey,
district attorney
they've been
declined
through
to
3 judges.
prosecute
Judges
defendant.
have got kicked off.
And that's your
This
name
is the
on the
stupidest
sheet,
case.
right, Kenneth Copeland?
And you know what? It's all a
Yes.
RICO case.
Okay, and I asked you if
That's what it
Fonnie
is.
Willis's name was
It's
on the
not
sheet,
murder
right?
or anything.
Yes.
Okay, and the sheet
what they got
starts out,
Capone on.
comes now, Fonnie Willis, district attorney for the Atlanta Judicial Circuit, state of Georgia, and shows this honorable
And
court
it's been
the
going on for like
following,
8 or 9
correct?
weeks.
Correct.
People are sick of it.
And it's signed by another
judge
man
threw
named Kenneth Hutchinson,
one of his attorneys off
whose
the case.
title is labeled
judge
as
did.
executive district attorney,
Said
correct?
his attorney
That's
could
what
no
she just
longer.
showed me.
All right, and
work.
you know Miss Fonnie Willis to be
Which
the
I really
the
don't think he's supposed to
elected
have that
district attorney
authority.
of Fulton County, correct?
I think she's like the head person.
The boss,
Yeah.
Mr. Hutchinson's boss.
That microphone is still working
Okay.
Let me ask you,
because I can see it working.
this was from
Blah, blah, blah,
2021,
blah, blah, blah,
right?
blah.
When you were first charged with this false statement and false report of a crime. It was 2021, right?
When I was in jail.
Yes. Okay.
I'm sorry, Rogue.
Who
He
was-
was just a toy.
Who was the attorney that got this case dismissed for you?
But
Who
you
was your
ducked
attorney
pretty,
on this
Rogue.
case?
You ducked pretty.
You?
I was?
You told me?
Did you ever hire an attorney on this case?
No, I'm saying you told me.
Okay. Well, let me ask you, what advocating for yourself did you do that convinced the district attorneys to dismiss this case in January 2024? What did you do to get them to dismiss it?
Sustained.
Mr. Copeland, you've said in your testimony that you've been sent, the police have constantly sent you to jail for things you didn't even do, right?
Right.
The state has prosecuted you time and time again for things you didn't even do, right?
Yep.
People are picking on you, right?
Yep.
And then in January 2024, your case just got dismissed and you didn't even do a darn thing to make it happen, huh?
You told me. I didn't know.
All right. Thank you.
Any other recross?
With the court's permission, I'd like to